hello. We are hopping on a minute or so early again, just so I can make sure we're all situated so we can get started. Let me tag everyone oh, turn myself down so you all know, so everyone knows that I'm here for day 2 of the Abundant Author Activation. So just waiting for, yay, Hazel is here. Hello, Hazel. How are we feeling today? How are we feeling? Today we are going to be diving into visibility. How to be vibrantly visible as the abundant author you are. But before we do that, let's do a check-in. How are you feeling after yesterday? What's been bubbling up for you? Do say hello in the comments as you are arriving. If you're watching the replay, you know the score. Use hashtag replay. What was your main takeaway from yesterday? Yesterday we were Happy Tuesday. Thanks, Carrie. Hazel's feeling great. Yesterday, we were connecting with your inner abundant author, reminding ourselves that, like, you already are the abundant author. It's already part of your identity. So, what was your biggest takeaway from yesterday? Pop it in the comments. Even if it's just 1 or 2 words that kind of came through for you, you've had a little bit of time to percolate with it. Um, oh, Terry, hello. Good to see you all. So, yeah, just checking in before we dive into today. We ended yesterday. Hello, Jen. Good to have you here. We ended yesterday with the question, like, what is it like? What comes up with you? Geraldine, yay. Judy, hello. What's it like to remind yourself that the abundant author is already part of your identity? Like, you already are the abundant author. Julie, hello. Anna, yay. Just done the meditation to connect with my abundant author. She was so confident with so much courage about sharing her gifts with the world. Yeah. And what was that like, Anna? What was it like to have that experience, to be connected with that part of you? And this is the thing. Hey, Susan, like we hold all of these different aspects within us already. And Terry, you typed loveliest, but the tea came in. It's all good. I haven't got my glasses on, so to be honest. um, mm, mm. Oh, Jen, this is interesting. You're really not feeling it right now. Did the visualization earlier and just heard an angry voice arguing against it. Yeah. Yeah. Well, this is what I'm saying. Like, we have all the different aspects within us. And so often we can be making parts of us wrong. Um, or saying, well, no, that's not what abundance looks like. But actually, like, allowing that part of you, Jen, to be expressed, the part that is angry, that wants to argue against it. I'd be really curious to kind of go into that some more and see exactly what that part of you is arguing against, like what is coming up for her. Because really, it's no surprise if we are experiencing resistance, um, anger, like numbness around abundance, like being the abundant author that you're here to be, because the way, oh, we're going deep, aren't we, right at the beginning? But the way we've often experienced that in the world or seen it showing up in other people, or not just in authors, but with people we perceive to be abundant, we perceive to be, particularly financially wealthy, there can be a lot of like dissonance around that because we see it showing up in the world in a really toxic way. So when we try to connect with that energy, that quality that's within us, it can feel alien. It can feel really unfamiliar. Um, let's I want to go back up in the comments. And as well, yeah, we're not always going to be feeling it. Just because I'm hosting the Abundant Author Activation now doesn't mean that you're going to be particularly, like, my intention is that we all get to connect with that quality. But sometimes, and especially right now, with, we've been moving through some really intense energies, it may not feel like that, but I feel like there's some gold. There is some gold there, Jen. Judy, I got super scared in the visualization. I realized there are parts of me protecting me um, from sharing the vulnerable, abundant author. So this ties in with what we're going to be talking about today, like the visibility piece, like sharing your message more widely. Anna, it was very comforting because fear was bubbling up as I went into the meditation. A big hang-ups around visibility until now, I should say. Well, there's no should, Anna, but and Anna, like, your book is already out there doing this. It's already out there, like, sharing your message. Um, Julie, I want to be connected to my abundant author, but she hasn't found me yet. She's there. She's there. She's right here. She's watching this live. Um, Carrie, I think I've been in the mindset of giving for so long that this feels foreign to me, but I am trying to embody it. Yeah, being open to receive, like allowing ourselves to receive, is massive. Like, there is so much we could dive into. Um, mm, ah, Hazel, mine felt like a parent telling me to grow up, which isn't a bad thing. Wow, it's however you experience it. Sometimes we need a bit of that fierce, a bit of, like, come on, like, this is what you're here to do. Sometimes we need that kind of gentle, like, holding and encouragement. Of times we do need a bit more fierceness. So, Jen, I'm finding myself getting triggered at the moment by these people on social media who are talking about making a shit ton of money by getting people to write books for them. They have done from a place of commerciality rather than a heart led place. When peeps like us have invested our own money and blood and sweat and tears and not even broken even, I know this is my issue and pointing to something I need to work on. Yeah, totally, totally get that. It's so easy, well, not easy, but it can fit. It's very natural for us to be looking at what other people um, are doing or experiencing and comparing ourselves to those. And actually, like, everyone in this space, there's no way you could operate, um, share your magic, write your books, be visible in any other way than heart led. Like, heart led, soul led, that's why you're here. And it can feel like that adds an extra layer of complication at times, because it's like, oh, if I could just be like these other people, it seems so easy for them. Um, but it's about tuning into, okay, this is like your own path. Like, what is your unique path here? And I know it's difficult, but tuning out the noise. Yeah, somebody else over there might have done it like that, and it may on the surface on social media look like they've had an easier experience, that it's come more easily to them. And maybe it has. I'm not saying it hasn't. What I am saying is what we see, particularly on social media, so often it's just a tiny, tiny part of the whole picture. So it's reminding ourselves that however glossy, however easy it looks to other people on the surface of things, and I'm not saying it doesn't come easier to some people or they have a different experience, but it's reminding ourselves that most people on these platforms are sharing from a very tactical place, and what is going on underneath, because if it's not coming from a heart-led place, like, that is going to show up in some way in their experience. And I don't mean that in a kind of sounds really judgmental. Hopefully you get what I'm saying there. Hazel, oh good, she was encouraging, fierce but encouraging. Geraldine, I dug out gold after yesterday. I need to lean into my self confidence and trust. I wrote the following this morning: illusions and fear, my confident trust will make disappear and crush them to dust. Oh, I love that. I don't think I read it in a very poetic way, but I love that, Geraldine. Deborah, my abundant author first showed up as a presence outside of me, then merged with me. It was clear she is already part of me, just waiting for me to trust. I mean, trust is a key piece here. Trust is such an important piece on the writing journey itself. And also, as we continue to share our magic, our medicine, our message, whatever it is, like trusting ourselves and our unique path, and like trusting that it gets to be different, and trusting the timing as well. Like, again, sometimes we can look at other people and go, oh, it just happened really quickly for them. And again, very often you're only seeing a very small part of their journey. So it's reminding you that, like, every step you take, and this really applies to visibility. I'm going to offer a bit of a reframe on visibility in a minute, but like sometimes we're doing the thing and we're showing up and sharing, and it doesn't look like we're having any kind of impact. And it can feel like the same with our books as well. It's like, oh, it doesn't seem to be kind of like taking off or doing what I've imagined it would do. And it's like just seeing like every copy of your book that you sell, every time somebody goes, oh my goodness, you've got to read this book, you might not even know about this. Every time you are sharing something, whether that's on social media or through a conversation with somebody, like that is going to have a ripple effect. And we forget that, because if we're not getting the likes and the comments and the cash in the bank like immediately, new clients coming to us, whatever it is, it's like, wow, that didn't work, did it? So I'm not going to bother with that again. Or, it was it worth writing my book because I didn't get the results that I imagined or hoped that I would. But it is always having an impact. And the thing about a book in particular is that, like, it's this solid thing that gets to go out into the world and continue to have an impact over a period of months, years, like beyond your lifetime. Now, and that blows my mind. So, yeah, there's that. I don't know how I started that, but anyway. Talking about trust, I think. Julie, I'm on a learning journey and want to experience the writing process, and those people won't have that if they get others to write it for them. My soul will guide me. It's true. It's true. Like, there is so much gold in the transformational experience you have as you write your book. And if you get somebody else to write it, then I mean, it depends how that happens, how that process unfolds, because you've still, like, hopefully lived whatever it is you're writing about. But there is something about, you get to distill that transformation, that kind of healing process, by actually putting the words onto the page yourself. There is so much there. Carrie, makes me smile that generations down the road might find wisdom in my words. Exactly. Exactly. So I know it's not always easy. Like this abundant author journey is certainly not all like shiny rainbows, unicorns. It can feel challenging and edgy and triggering. That's what we're here for. That's what we're here for. That's, to really show up and authentically share our message, our magic, our medicine. Carrie, what is the point of getting someone else to write it? Wow, it saves a whole lot of time. I can understand why that would be tempting. Um, it's the whole, question of like using AI as well to write a book. Um, but where's the heart? Like, where's the heart? Where's the soul? Where's the where's the essence of transformation? Where's the potency that you get to infuse in your book when you allow yourself to go on that journey? And this is what I mean. It's not just about the book. Like then your book even more so gets to be a seed for so much more because you've allowed yourself to have that experience. Anyway, visibility. How do we feel about visibility? What comes up for you when I talk about visibility? Being visible as the abundant author you are, certainly the abundant author you get to be. Let me know. And I asked this question over in the Get Book Ready Facebook group. Um, a couple of weeks, Julie Dread, yeah, a couple of weeks ago. And some of the things that came up are, let me read these out. So putting in so much work and heart into it, into your book, and not doing it justice when talking about it, that can feel challenging. Um, Someone said, oh, this is controversial, but I get bored promoting something I'm done with, even though it's bloody amazing and magical and I'm proud of it. Totally get that. And the thing is, with the abundant author piece, you get to take your book and like create something new from it, which we'll be talking about tomorrow as well. Someone else said, I really love the engagement with people and have no problem with speaking to an audience. It's the promotion of the work, to get those opportunities that I find exhausting, if that makes sense. Possibility of negative opinions being average. Once I'm out there, I'm going to have to take care of advertising myself like you do me. How did you start it years ago? Um, so it can feel challenging in lots of different ways. Let me let me see what we have here. So Julie was first in with dread. You're definitely not alone in that, Julie. Geraldine, excited and ready. Yay. Judy having to do lots of reels on Instagram. Well, you can do if that feels good. This is the thing. This is part of the thing I want you to know. We get to choose the way that we are showing up and being visible. Mariah, totally. It felt like writing my book was a rich mastermind experience, helped me heal and integrate. Yeah. Yeah. And it's reminding ourselves of that. There are going to be times where it's like, oh, why can't this be easier? I definitely feel that. Um, mm, Hazel, I used to hate being visible, but like it now. Julie, maybe I'll feel different when I've managed to complete, and maybe then I'll feel excited. But we do get to share along the way. Like, this is a big part of the Unbound writing process. It's like, as you are writing, if you are able in some way to take your readers, your people on the journey with you, like that can help to really enliven and clarify your own process as well. Jen, I love connecting with readers, but 2 years down the line, I'm struggling with how to evolve and keep fresh the way I'm promoting, which is mainly through Insta and following up articles in magazines, etc., reaching out to journalists. Yeah, I do feel like in that case, when we can add something else into the mix, and this, like, this is what we'll be talking about tomorrow, when we talk about offer, like creating an offering around your writing, which you can do when, like, either once your book's out in the world or even when you're in the writing process. Just adds an extra layer which can, like, keep that energy going. Mariah, yeah. I've experienced being trolled and only just coming back to visibility after 2 months of socials. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it can happen. It can happen. Anna, I resonate with the boredom bit or worrying that you are boring your audience with banging on about it. Yeah. See, this is the thing. We feel there's this piece, and this can be like the too much piece. We worry about being too much. It's like, oh, I can't talk about that again. Most of the time, people aren't even noticing what you're sharing, or they will only see a very small proportion of what you're sharing, particularly on most social media, Facebook, Instagram, because of the algorithm. Like, only a very small percentage of your followers, friends will actually see what you're sharing most of the time. So we feel like we're putting a lot out there, but really only a tiny number of people are seeing it. Um, and even when it comes to something like email, um, there's only a percentage of people will open emails. Most people will open all your emails, if you are sharing your message that way. But we imagine that everyone is seeing everything, and then it just feels like too much. And sometimes, particularly if we're at a place where actually I'm a bit bored of talking about this now, like, very quickly it can feel like too much. It's like, how can we bring like some fresh energy to it? Julie, I'm not a salesperson, so I fear I won't do it justice. See, this is a piece about like not getting it right in some way. Um, Geraldine, my self confidence was shattered to pieces. These past couple of years, I've done a lot of healing. So only recently I felt this excitement and feeling of being ready. Yeah, it definitely ebbs and flows. Definitely ebbs and flows. I mean, I personally have had such a journey with visibility in the um, 14 plus now years that I have been running my own business. Like, started out um, with a blog, and sharing a little bit on Facebook, and was all very um, professional. That was my most important intention at the time. Like, I wanted to do it properly, um, come across as a professional person. And I'm not saying you shouldn't be professional, but over the years, I've given myself permission to be much more authentically me when I'm sharing. But that has been such a journey. And for those who are saying, oh, I'm not very good at it, um, sorry, I'm just getting totally distracted by the comment. Not very good at it, or I've got some resistance because I know, like, I'll be average at the beginning. Like, everyone's a bit rubbish at the beginning. I'm a bit rubbish a lot of the time now when it comes to being visible. I will lose track of what I'm saying. I will write something that's a bit clumsy, and I've given myself permission to do that. It's okay to be a bit rubbish. Because actually, often when we feel like, oh, that was a bit average, that was a bit flat, that was a bit rubbish, there are people out there who are still resonating with it. Like, it doesn't feel like rubbish to them. So there's something about like turning down the dial of that judgment and allowing ourselves to share from this authentic place. Um, Seema, just catching this mid recording and tapping into the feeling of being away, off for so long. Where the heck do I even begin? Both where in terms of platform and where in all the things I'm doing. Probably falling in the proper trap. Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting. I saw a post from someone yesterday who, like, she runs a content creation company helping people to, yeah, create content and market their businesses. And she said, like, if you're coming back from a break, and I've heard other people say this before, don't kind of say, oh, sorry, I've been away. Don't draw attention to the fact that you've been away for a long time, even if it's, it could be a year or more. um just show up and start doing your thing, because like no one really, oh, this sounds awful, but people don't really care. If you've been away for a while, I'm not saying there aren't people who will care, there are. And of course there are, but most people are so tied up in their own thing that they don't even notice, they won't even have noticed. So we don't have to make it a big thing. If you haven't been being visible for a while, it's okay. You can start again, like small steps. Terry, I blew professional um, out the window when I first started 9 years ago, but then I had 10 subscribers on my newsletter. That's it though. But, and I've heard people say this before, like when we get into numbers and things, it's like, oh, you know, well, I only had 10 subscribers on my newsletter, or only got like, I don't know, 50 followers on Instagram or whatever it is. But if you had that number of people, like in a room somewhere, like imagine how amazing if you have the opportunity to speak to each one of those people, how powerful would that be? And I see it the same. Like, I'm not saying that books are like you can't sell like thousands of copies of your book, but there's something in really appreciating every single one, like especially with a book, even more so than like a social media post or a blog or whatever it is. Like if someone takes the time to order your book and to read your book, like that's quite an investment of time and energy. Like what an amazing thing that is. Even if you never ever hear from them, and for most readers you probably won't, but what an amazing thing that is. um Anna, thank you. Perfectionism really holds me back from posting. Yeah, I mean, it can hold us back in our writing as well. I absolutely have to give myself permission to, like, if I'm writing a social media post or an email, unless I'm really like, there are times when it's like, oh, this is really flowing. Most of the time, it's really not. So I will just have an idea of something I want to share. In my head, it feels really clear. I start writing it, it feels a bit clunky. I just get it down. I might come back and tweak it, but most of the time, it's like, I'm putting it out there. I'm trusting that it will find its way to whoever it needs to find its way to. And maybe I just need to share it today because I need to express that myself. And that's enough. I'm writing in my next book, The Abundant Author. I write this piece around this thing like quality, like we want quality rather than quantity. And I kind of feel when it comes to visibility, when it comes to expressing ourselves and sharing our magic, that can put a lot of pressure on. It's like, well, I can't share something unless it's quality. And I'm not saying you shouldn't care, but there's a piece here around, like, the more you share, the higher quality it's going to be, because you'll get to know your own voice. You'll kind of get into a rhythm with it. Whereas if we're waiting for that time when it's like, okay, I've got this now, or I've crafted this wonderful social media post, or I've made this video and I've like recorded it so many times so I feel it's perfect. It's like so much more could have come through in the meantime. So I'm kind of questioning the idea of quality over quantity when it comes to visibility. I'm not just saying just put stuff out there for the sake of it, but so many of us, like, we have these ideas that are bubbling or things that are coming through in our writing, and we stop ourselves from sharing it because it's like, but I just need to find like the right way of expressing this. And we never get to a point where it feels perfect. So it's like, what if you just allowed yourself to share it, and maybe it does feel a bit clunky to you. It probably won't feel clunky to anyone else. Ooh, Carrie, I find that it's just so much easier to make a video in the moment of inspiration than to try and make it perfectly a presentation. Yeah, I'm like that. That's why I like doing lives, because I can't go back and like edit it however much I might wish that I can. Also, I like doing something like this because I have engagement. Like, I'm a manifesting generator. I like having something to respond to. So for me, doing a live, particularly in this kind of container, this can happen if I was going live on Instagram or just on my Facebook page. But here we've got a really lovely container. We're all here for shared intention. So for me, this works really well as a way of being visible. Because yeah, there aren't like hundreds or thousands of people in this space, but that's a good thing, because we get to have this like intimacy. I get to be inspired by what each of you are sharing. So it's really feeling into, like, what what helps to spark me off, what feels good for me. Um, Seema, just show up and start doing your thing. Yes, love this. I totally get your comment about people not caring. Yeah, it's the same with our books again. Often we're like really fixated on what this one person might think of if they read our book. And that person, whoever it is, your Aunt Maud, or that person you used to work with 10 years ago, who was really judgmental, you know, they're not even, it's not even going to be on their radar. Uh, Hazel, I give myself permission to ramble. Yeah, so often we can be like, oh, I'm really rambling or I'm waffling, and um, particularly hear women saying that all the time, and it's not true. Jen, I think the fact people don't really care because they are too wrapped up in their own lives is liberating. It frees us up. Yeah, definitely up for eclipsing out the perfectionism. Hazel, each cell is a gift to me. Yeah. Terry, it felt safe to be myself with a smaller group and grew into it. Yeah. Yeah, that's like what a gift that is, to be able to find your way in with an intimate group of people. Carrie, I'd rather profoundly impact 10 people than kind of touch 500. CMate, yes, I'm a generator and miss the interaction if I'm writing, let's say on Substack. Yeah. Um, Jen, a major issue for me is about the technical side of things, how to create visually compelling posts. They say Canva is easy, but I don't find it so. Maybe just my lack of skills. Actually, on Canva, they have amazing templates now. So, what I tend to do is find a template that I like and then we'll tweak it. Like, I'm so with you on that, Jen. And I've got better over the year. Again, it's something that comes with, like, if you looked back, I mean, I'm not saying that my visual presentation of anything is that amazing now. A lot of what I use is based on like templates, um, in terms of design, to to help it look okay. But if you look back at some of my older stuff, it would be, oh my goddess. But I got the message out there. How to develop mailing lists and simple things like click here buttons, how to record videos and share to different formats. It feels overwhelming. I've tried watching videos and signing up for free courses, but often what you are told to do doesn't match with what's on your screen. I feel like I want someone to sit next to me when I'm actually doing things and help me. Yeah, there will most likely be people in this space who have those kind of skills. Certainly in the Unbound, the wider Unbound writing community, I've definitely learned, kind of on the job, as it was, um, like trial and error with a lot of things, or getting a VA to help me at times when it's just felt overwhelming. I think it really is a question of like focusing on like what is the next thing that I want to do. Like if it's setting up a mailing list, um, I mean, I use Active Campaign for my mailing list. I wouldn't say that was the easiest. Oh, the easiest platform to use, but asking the question of people like, what is a really simple way that I could set up a mailing list? What platform? Um, mm, and following that. I mean, I'm not your person when it comes to tech. I can offer very general guidance. But I totally get that frustration. Totally get it. So I want to offer a bit of a reframe around visibility because, like the very word visibility, I'm kind of not into it. I get it because it is about, I guess, being seen, um, like allowing ourselves to be seen, but it's so much more than that. And when I, well, when I really feel into this, rather than thinking about visibility, I invite you to reframe that as connection. Like it's not about just kind of broadcasting and putting something out there to be seen. It's like with the intention of creating connection, like to connect more deeply with the people who are already in your community, in your audience, and to connect with more people and invite them into your world. At the same time, whenever we are sharing, expressing, and it can be video, it can be writing, it can be online, it can be, it doesn't have to be online as well. Like when we think about visibility, I think we automatically go to a place where, oh, okay, well, that's got to be on social media, and it doesn't. Like people had businesses for, forever before social media, the internet was even a thing. So, yes, I'm very grateful for these platforms that help us to reach. Like it's helped me to connect with each one of you. So, like, very, very grateful for that. But also, I think we need to open up our perception of what it means to be visible. And when we like feel into the word connection instead, like for me, that shifts the energy. It goes from this place that can feel quite superficial because, again, let me have some water. When we're thinking about visibility, it can feel like, oh, we've got to look a particular way. We've got to have all the bells and whistles in place. And it can feel like that, but we absolutely don't. I mean, it depends what you're doing, but when we're thinking about an offer, and we'll be diving into that tomorrow, and you'll see this in the way like tomorrow I'm going to open the doors to the Abundant Author Academy. Like there is no fancy sales page unless like miraculously I managed to do that tomorrow because I do have an amazing team who can offer support to me, but also because I think again because I'm a manifesting generator and I'm always kind of like playing with new ideas, often it's easier for me to do it myself because of timing. So you will see the way I'm going to share the details of the Abundant Author Academy with you tomorrow. Very, very simple, very, very basic. But it's coming from this place of like connection. Yeah. So you don't have to have all the bells and whistles. You don't have to look perfect at all, either in terms of, you know, how you're on video or what you're writing, how you're writing it. It's the same as it is when we're writing our books. I always recommend that you imagine that you're writing, well, this is like a really classic piece of writing advice, like imagine that you're writing to one person. And it's the same when it comes to visibility. Like imagine that you're getting to connect with one person who like really needs to hear, really wants to hear what you have to share. It takes the pressure off, it frees us up, and it connects us back in with our hearts. It's like, yeah, I'm not just doing this for the sake of it. I'm doing it because it feels important to me. Like this is something that I want to express. This is something that I want to share. And like through doing this, I get to feel more connected with myself and the different parts of me. And I also, like, almost a side effect of that is that I get to connect more deeply with my people. Seema, this is so helpful. You're reminding me of a time before my visibility hiatus when I sold a circle simply with one video and a few WhatsApp messages. I didn't even know all the details, but I shared the essence, the investment, and what my promise was. Thank you for resurrecting this aspect of me. Yeah. Do you know what? I feel like more and more people are going back to like keeping things really simple, even some of the kind of big names. Um, I've seen doing things in a really like just make an invitation, not even with that many details. Um, like we get to do it. We get to do it in a really simple way when we come from this place of connection. Yeah. So, my invitation to you when it comes to visibility, I mean, let me know what's coming up, any questions. See you, Carrie. Um, sending all any questions that come up. And my invitation when it comes to your abundant author journey is yeah, like to come from this place of connection, like to start with that intention, to get into a practice of letting go of any expectation of perfection because it doesn't exist. And actually, for me, that can create a sense of disconnect. Um, if I'm watching someone who is like sharing from this place where everything is super shiny and perfect, like I love a bit of a bit of mess. It doesn't feel authentic to me. It might be authentic to them actually, but then that tells me that they're not my people. Yeah. So actually taking the pressure off, allowing yourself to express more freely, more authentically, less perfectly, can create even more connection with your people. Yeah. So, three things: reframing visibility as connection, letting go of the need to be perfect, and just getting into a practice of sharing. And the third thing is like just choose one place, one way of sharing that feels good for you initially. Then that can like maybe feed into other areas, into other platforms. So, it might be through a podcast or um, like setting up a YouTube channel and like sharing through video. Like the podcast that we have at the Unbound Writers Club that kind of creates content for a lot of other, then we share it on Instagram, Facebook, um, through my email list as well. So like choosing one core place and then like you can share around that as well, because sometimes there's so much overwhelm around like there's all of these different options around how I could be visible and I just can't choose. It's like pick one place that feels most aligned for you and focus on that. um Seema, love the idea of slipping into a practice of connecting on one platform. I'm now thinking about the audio option on Substack. I didn't know there was an audio option on Substack. I mean, I love audio as well. That's why I love the podcast. There's something really freeing, again, about, not even having that visual aspect, just speaking, like using the power of our voices. But maybe it is Facebook or Instagram, a social media platform. Like I said, it could be completely not online. Like maybe you choose to start like old school networking. Either, like with like specific networking groups or kind of creating your own circles in person. Like really allow yourself to feel into, okay, well, what would feel good for me? Don't do something because you feel you should. If Instagram doesn't feel good, if reels don't feel good, don't do them. Like I love a reel. Um I just love having fun with them, and I love it like for the podcast that I can create a reel with that content that's already been created. But if it doesn't feel good for you, don't don't do it. Like pick something that does feel like the thing that feels most aligned and good for you. I'm not saying it won't ever feel uncomfortable, because at times it will, because we're like very often expanding beyond an edge. But just keep it simple. Keep it simple. So, my invitation today, after everything that we've spoken about, is like, allow yourself to express something like in the next 24 hours before we meet here again tomorrow. However, it is, like I said, it might be in person, it might be via an email, social media, whatever it is. Allow yourself to share something without it having to be perfect, just from the heart. Maybe it's like something new that you haven't shared before, something connected with your writing, maybe, but it's, even if it doesn't feel directly connected, like everything is connected. But from our conversation today, my invitation is to share something that's bubbling for you with your people in one way or another. Seema, I do love Instagram stories because it's quick and gone in 24 hours, so it bypasses my perfectionism. But then I wonder if it's a visibility issue that I want it to go away in 24 hours. I'm with you there, though. There's something about the immediacy of stories that I really love, and that's a really great way. And you could always download your stories on Instagram and then share them as a reel, so they would be there for longer than 24 hours. Not all of them, obviously. Sometimes I'm just kind of chatting away about all sorts of random stuff on my stories. But if there's something like a point that you're expressing, it's a really good way of doing it as a story, and then you can download it and share it as a reel as well. But yeah, one thing, share something maybe that you wouldn't normally, that normally you'd go, oh, well, I'll come back to that and wait until it's all kind of a bit more shiny in the next 24 hours before we meet again. I was going to say my challenge to you, but it's not, it's an invitation, is to share something, particularly if you haven't shared for a while. And like I said, no, you don't have to come back and apologize um, for not being present for a while. It's all good. It's all good. Okay, my loves. And yeah, Substack is sounding more and more appealing. A lot of Unbound writers have created Substacks actually. I think it works really well if you are, you enjoy that longer form of writing, and there is a community aspect to it as well. So, yeah, choose one thing, one platform that feels good for you, and you don't have to write like a whole Substack for the next 24 hours unless you feel called. Um, but share something somewhere and let us know. You can share it here in the group as well, and how it was. And like I said, any questions that are bubbling up around visibility, do let me know. Post them here below this video, tag me in, or as a separate post in the group. Tomorrow we are going to be diving into offers, how to create a compelling offer around your writing. It's all layers, it's all layers, and we get to keep it simple every step of the way. Yeah. Okay, my loves. So, so good to connect with you all. Like I said, if you've been watching the replay, use the hashtag replay and pop any questions here. You're so, so welcome. Sending you all lots of love, and I'll see you tomorrow.